Hey everyone, Casual Console Gamer here, back from vacation with another review. Alan Wake 2 released in 2023 for console and PC through the Epic Games Store, which still has the exclusive rights on PC as of 2026. It currently retails for $50 but it was given away for free on the PlayStation 5 for its monthly free PlayStation Plus games recently, which is where I picked it up. It took me about 15 hours to beat and has an easy, medium, and hard mode, so you can adjust the difficulty however you want. With a lot of connections to Remedy's other games, particularly Alan Wake 1 and Control, is Alan Wake 2 worth playing on PlayStation 5 console? This review is going to answer that question. If you're enjoying my reviews, make sure to like this video and consider subscribing to my channel.
We have a clip from the new film, Murder Case Casey. Should we roll it, or do you want to say something first, Sam?
Nah, just roll it.
Alright, let's start, as we always do, by discussing the graphics and technical performance of Alan Wake 2 on console. When it was released, the game got some flack for its poor performance, but that has smoothed out on console. You have a choice between 60 FPS performance mode and a 30 FPS quality mode. I played on the performance mode as the 30 FPS camera movement was a bit too jittery for my taste, and I didn't see a ton of difference between the graphics settings. Alan Wake 2 is a dark game, not just in tone, but in visuals as well. Using a flashlight is a major gameplay element, so if you're playing on a dark TV or in a room with some sunlight or a lamp or something on, you're likely going to have to up the brightness and contrast to see what's going on. The flashlight works well, but there are very few well-lit areas in the game. Even the daytime sections are sort of dim dusk or dawn, so I found that I was using my flashlight all the time. Besides the darkness, the graphics are pretty good. The cinematics combine real-life action and in-game cinematics in a way that's sort of like Quantum Break had done, but Alan Wake 2 does blend it better. The only thing I will say about the graphics is that the beginning of the game has a naked man walking around, so just be aware that it can be awkward if you're playing and somebody walks into the room and asks what you're doing, and then they see a whole lot of man butt along with the front end of him at times as well. Just be aware of that.
Like we'd even dream of missing dear Fez.
Oh God. Saga Anderson, as I live and breathe. I thought we'd never see you back here after that awful, awful thing happened to your baby girl. How are you? I'm sorry. Who are you?
Let's talk about the story of Alan Wake 2. I'm going to keep this mostly spoiler-free. This game is very meta, meaning there's a lot taken from outside of the game's world, Remedy's other games, Alan Wake 1, its DLCs, and a bunch of other sources. That means that to really understand what's going on here, Alan Wake 1 is like just the base. You should probably also play Control so you understand what the FBC is, and some other plot points. I've played every Remedy game since the first Max Payne, and even I didn't understand half of what was happening in Alan Wake 2. Part of that is because I only played Control in the first Alan Wake once, a long time ago, and you tend to forget some stuff. The other part of it is that Alan Wake 2 is batshit crazy. There's a lot of weird things happening, with the developers seemingly just throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks, sometimes for shock value, sometimes just because they think it's clever. That does mean the story's not bad, it's actually pretty good, provided you're paying attention, but Alan Wake 2's best part is the vibes and the feeling the story gives you rather than the answers to the questions that you have. Alan Wake 2 is a horror game, and tension is baked into the story. It's dark, depressing, and terrifying. It's also split into two main parts, with Alan Wake and Saga Anderson each taking a turn at the wheel driving the narrative. This does work pretty well in theory, as they sort of help each other out and there's some reveals from one person's perspective to the other and they interweave. However, one issue that I had is that you have a choice to switch between characters. You can play Saga's storyline, then switch to Alan to do the same or go back and forth. If you just stick with one, you might miss some things. Not that you won't see them, you just won't have that context. Those switches, if you do it manually, can be jarring, and I wish the developers had just done the switching for us so that they can set the pace and build the story around it. The game also ended with a few threads left hanging, no doubt reserved for the DLC, which I didn't play. Overall, the game is good, but it wasn't a clear-cut and easy-to-understand story as I would have hoped.
Hey, we met at Door's show. Alan Wake, the writer. I'm Alex Casey, looking into a murder.
Come on, what is this?
There's a piece of evidence, a manuscript of a novel. You wouldn't know anything about it?
A manuscript? What manuscript? I need to see it.
For gameplay, Alan Wake 2 is a mixed bag. The game has a mix of exploration with a few maps, combat against enemies, and puzzles to progress. The exploration is good with lots of things to find in the world like weapons and ammos and Easter eggs and upgrades. You can come back to areas with new equipment to open up new parts of it, and levels are designed pretty well. They can be creepy or picturesque. One of the issues, however, is that this is very much a where the hell do I go now type of game. There are multiple times when I got stuck for long periods of time because I didn't go back to the Mine Palace to pin things on a board, even though the game didn't get any clues to do so. Paths can be hidden or obscured, or a ladder might be out of sight. The levels are rather small, and there's a lot of things that are covered that's kind of time consuming to find your way through them. There's one part where you're in a morgue, and I was there for about 15 minutes with no clue where I was supposed to go, as I was supposed to go to the mine place and pin something on the board to progress the story, and like I said, the game didn't tell me, so I was just wandering around looking for hints. It can be frustrating even if you're paying attention. The second part of the gameplay, combat, is not great. If you've ever played the first Alan Wake, or really any Remedy game, you know that the combat's really never really good. Control and Quantum Break kinda made up for it with cool powers and stuff, but Alan Wake just doesn't have that. It can be a time-consuming process to switch weapons, enemies rush at you while you're reloading, and those reload times are long. And on the harder difficulties, you easily run out of ammo or flashlight batteries, even if you search everywhere, and the game loves to have enemies come at you from off-screen or to the side of your character so you don't know they're coming. The final part of the gameplay is the puzzles. This can be looking for a code to a locked door or chest, or figuring out how to change the world using Alan Wake's writing to change the scene. You select a scene from the board, like the room that you're currently in, and a room could shift, opening up a new path. This is easily the best part of the gameplay. It changes, say, a mundane hotel lobby into like a cult ritual site with bodies strewn everywhere. It means that they can reuse the same level and not feel like it's just a repeat. You're often going through the same place over and over again, but it changes each time. The last thing I want to talk about is the weird stuff that happens in the game. There's a dance scene or a musical scene. Things happen sometimes and it almost feels like the developers were just having fun or did things just because. Max Payne is in the game, with the voice actor returning and Sam Lake, one of the developers, acting as him, although it's Alex Casey in Alan Wake 2. This game just has a lot of odd and strange choices, meta humor that some people are going to love and other people will hate.
No, wait.
All right, let's get into the pros and cons of Alan Wake 2. For the pros, the game looks good. The graphics are top-notch, and the motion capture for the actors is fantastic. The story is interesting and engaging with a ton of callbacks and Easter eggs to other Remedy games. The tension and the horror in this game is incredible. I was on the edge of my seat for a lot of it. I'm not really a horror game person, I don't usually enjoy them, but I did find Alan Wake 2 interesting. However, there are some cons. This game loves jump scares. They overdid them way too much. They added a setting to reduce the sound and the visual effects of those jump scares, but they do happen dozens of times and it can be frustrating. Walk to a room, jump scare. Touch something, jump scare. I wouldn't replay a lot of this game just for that, as I don't want a heart attack, even when I expect it to happen. It's not scary, it's stupid and not needed. Take them out and the game is still plenty scary as it is with that atmosphere. And even the developers admitted they did overdo the jump scares. There are some plot threads left unanswered, and the game ends on a cliffhanger. If you want the true ending, you need to replay it in New Game Plus and buy the DLCs. The story can be confusing to keep track of at times, requiring playing Alan Wake 1 to understand some things. This is expected. Obviously, you should play the first game before you play the sequel, but there is a lot from Control and other Remedy games here as well that you may not have played. And that's it for another review. So, is Alan Wake 2 worth playing on PlayStation 5 for $50 or even for free if you picked it up on monthly pass? On release, it probably was, but now I would probably wait for it to go on sale. Better yet, if you snagged it as your PlayStation Plus monthly game and it's currently sitting in your library, you should download it and give it a try. I had it installed on my own PS5 for months, and then I waited until I had a chance to play it, and I'm glad I did. I'm the Casual Console Gamer on YouTube, and I'll see you all in the next review.